This conference will now be recorded.
So here, the topic of today's discussion is Jenkins. So Jenkins plays a very important role in DevOps. Okay, of course, being it is dealing with DevOps, so Jenkins plays very important role in DevOps. We call Jenkins as a CI/CD tool. CI/CD means continuous integration. CI stands for continuous integration. CD stands for continuous delivery. And what is CI? What are all the activities that forms the part of CI? Under CI, so four major activity will happen. So here one is continuous download. I will let you know each and everything in depth. Continuous download. Second thing, continuous compile and build. So here, third thing, continuous testing. Before that, continuous testing, and then continuous deployment, and then continuous delivery. Okay, here in CD stands for continuous delivery. These are all the four sequence of activity that happens on continuous integration. Okay, so similar to that of Jenkins, there are several tools. To name some tools, we have TeamCity, one of the famous used tool, and we have Travis. So make a note of some tools similar to Jenkins. Travis. In terms of AWS, since you already know, we have a thing called AWS Code Pipeline. The build tool of AWS DevOps build tool is AWS Code Pipeline. Similar to that of AWS in Google also, we have a build tool called Google Cloud Build. There is another tool, Google Cloud Build. Okay. So we have GitLab. These are all some of the one of the most famous TeamCity, Travis. Okay, we have Bitbucket from Atlassian product. Okay, Bitbucket pipeline. We call it as a Bitbucket pipeline tool. So these are all the tools which is more or less similar to Jenkins, but Jenkins plays a very dominant role in the market share. Compared to that of other tools, almost 60-75% of people are using Jenkins for this CI/CD build pipeline. Okay, what is CI/CD build pipeline? What is the role of Jenkins? Apart from that, what Jenkins will need, so in order to do the opposite activity for continuous integration, continuous delivery, what are all the environment that need to establish? Those sort of things will be going to be dealt in the first part of the session. Okay, so here, let me take the scenario, a project here. So you already have in terms of software development. So initially we have this traditional model, okay, like waterfall model. So traditional model, we started with the waterfall model. So we have already discussed this thing in introduction, just a recap, waterfall model. The waterfall model, the main drawback of waterfall model, it will take a lot of time. So more time. So from the day at which client approaches to the time of delivery, it took minimum 6 to 8 months time for delivering the application. In the meantime, so the client may have more functionalities, new functionalities might have been added in the business. They may have more branches, etc., etc. So once it is delivered, and there is a frequent modifications that need to be done. That's the drawback of waterfall model. To overcome the drawback, we go for Agile. Agile focuses on the development perspective. In terms of any operation, we have development and operation. So IT operation and development. So Agile's main focus is on improving the development. It improves the development life cycle by divide and conquer approach. So instead of developing the entire application fully, what it does, it divides the application. For example, let me take State Bank of India approaches Wipro for developing a loan application mode. Okay, a loan application. So this loan application is assumed to be involved personal loan, home loan, vehicle loan. Okay, like education loan, agri loan. So these are all the 5 models: that is personal loan, home loan, vehicle loan, education loan, agri loan. So here in the approach of waterfall model, what Wipro will do, it will develop all the 5 models, and after development of all the models and operators and everything is okay, then it will deploy this into the client, okay, into the production server. So each and every model, it may need 1 month for development. Okay, so here after that it took minimum 5 to 6 months to complete the development. After completion of all the models only it will be delivered. Whereas in case of Agile, here instead of building the entire application and a single step, what it does, so here it will identify the priority model. So here let me take the first model as a personal loan model. The second as a educational loan model. Here is a home loan. Like it will take this first personal loan. So what it does here in this case in the waterfall model, we will be having requirement analysis. We have the following phase. We have based upon the requirement analysis, we have a design phase, and we have a coding phase. So we have a testing phase. We have a implementation phase. So these are all the major phases of activities that it was. Each and every phase will be done by a separate team of personnel. The requirement analysis will be done by business analysts. They will interact with the client. In this case, people from Wipro, business analyst from Wipro, will interact with the people working with the SBA, who is going to use these applications to make a know that what sort of functionalities that is needed for the application, what sort of activity that is happening in that application. So that are things for gathering those information. Business analyst will have a meeting, that is requirement gathering. A requirement gathering, we call it as a requirement gathering. So based upon that requirement gathered, the team, the business analyst in association with these technical architects, like solution architects for development, database architect, networking architect, infrastructure architects, okay, storage architect, they will design the applications, okay, plan. They will blueprint of application. So what are all the models which need to be form the part of application? What should be the database? So what sort of security that you want to incorporate? So like what tool that we need to use for UA and for business logic development, like based upon the requirement that has been gathered, the design team will decide on this activity, okay, in the design. So which was involved by the team of architects. Once everything is okay, everything design is okay, then they will form their team and they will start the process of coding. And each and every team model, the model, everything will be taken care by the concerned people, the developers, that we have testers, we have storage admin, we have database admin. All togetherly, they will togetherly develop the coding phase. The coding phase may run around 4 to 5 months of duration. Okay, everything is okay in sense they perform unit test, they perform integration test, they will perform load test like things. So these sort of tests will be applied on the entire application. Finally everything is okay, and the final test that has been performed is user acceptance test. Everything, if it is okay in sense, the application will be delivered to the client. This is what happened in the waterfall model. The same thing in case of Agile. What it does, the divide and conquer approach, as I already told. Instead of developing the entire thing in a single stretch, one model will be taken one at a time. For this the advantage. For what reason SBA is approaching Wipro for computerization and the manual activity? So for keeping the business by satisfying the customer. Okay, here the business activity need to be done in a quicker manner. So rather than doing it manually, if we go for these computerized applications, every activity can be done in a quicker manner, and that's the result, the customer satisfaction. So here, if you do activity manually, it need a 5 man resources. If this thing has been, each man resources, it is assumed salary of 50,000 Indian rupees. Total 5 resources 2.5 lakhs per month. Okay, every month that they want to spend 2.5 lakhs. In terms of a year, the amount that they need to spend for this is 30 lakhs per month for the salary for managing this activity. If it is computerized, the total cost of computerization is assumed that it is 30 lakhs. So Wipro is charging 30 lakhs for developing the application. Therefore, once it is this application is implemented, we no need 5 man resources. 1 man resources is enough. Okay. So let me imagine one man resources is enough. The one man resource salary 50,000. Okay, here totally the single man resource salary for the entire year is 6 lakhs. Therefore 30 plus 6, 36 lakhs totally. So from first the amount that they have invested in computerization is 36 lakhs. So here whenever after a period of 1.2 months, 1 year, 2 months, okay, so what happened here is the return of investment will be achieved. They invested rupees 30 lakhs for developing the application. So, but initially before developing the application, they need 5 man resources, and as a result, 30 lakh as a salary for 1 year. But if it is computerized, okay, it reduces the number of man resources from 5 to 1. Therefore, the SBI, State Bank of India, can able to achieve what it has invested, return of investment in the 1 year, 2 months. After that, whatever the thing that it is happening is margin for profit for State Bank of India. And another advantage is the customer will be served a very, very quicker manner. So instead of manual, if it is computerized, that's the reason why they go for. But after spending this much of amount, if they wait for 6 to 8 months, the return of investment will be more. Therefore, what Agile focuses here is Agile. So they will first take this personal model. They call it as a, okay, Agile, they call it as a story. They will form a story. Okay, they will sprint. They call it as a sprint. Each and every sprint will be of 3 to 4 weeks. It is depends upon the company. It depends upon the particular models functionality that is involved. So minimum 3, maximum of 4 weeks per sprint. So sprint 1, it will take the first development, a personal loan model. Okay, the personal loan model, what they does, so they will define stories. What are all the activities that need to be done on the personal loan model? What are all the functionalities? What are the functionalities need to be done? Again, for this model, they go for the following phase. They go for requirement gathering, they go for design, they go for coding, they go for testing. Okay, all the activity what we have followed in waterfall model will be done for this sprint also for the development of the personal loan. So after 1 month, after 3 weeks, let me assume after 3 weeks of development, 1 week of testing and associate testing, the first month itself, the first model will be delivered to the client, the personal loan. So the personal loan, it is assumed that most of the business is going on personal loan. Therefore, instead of waiting for 6 to 8 months, first month the personal loan will be delivered. So State Bank of India starts using this personal loan alone in a computerized manner. So as a result, the customer will be satisfied with very fast performance, very fast responses. So after that, it will take this second sprint 1. In the sprint 2, second sprint, it will take the second model, second prioritized model, education loan. In this manner, the advantage of going for agile here is the customer will get the application phase by phase. They don't need to wait for a longer duration. Instead of that, they will receive the application phase by phase, and as a result, the overall return of investment can be achieved in a shorter span of time. That's the advantage of going for agile. And to importantly, Agile focuses on improving the development activity. Every 1 month once, the developer will complete the application. The infrastructure team, who are all the members of this operation team? The members of the operation team will be the following people. Okay, so we will be having as you already aware, so there are two teams that operates for application development and deployment. So one is the development team that comprises of the following things. So in the development team, we have development team and we have operation team. Development team's responsibility is to develop the application. Then we have business analysts, BA. We have developers. We have testers to test the applications. We have build engineers to build the artifact. These are all the members which forms the part of development team. In operation team, we have network administrators, we have system administrators, system and network administrators to ready the system, and we have database admin, and we have a SAN admin storage team, okay, which forms the part of operation team. So for development of application is the part of development team. After the application has been developed, that application need to be hosted on the server. Okay, so that keeping the server ready, ensuring the server's high availability, that is accessing the application which is running on the server 24/7, by ensuring load balancing, by ensuring auto scaling like features in the server. So making this application available to the end user across globe is the responsibility of networking and internet networking team. So making the system working properly for the client who is using is the responsibility of a system administration team. Taking care of data that is generated on the application, keeping a backup copy of the data, wherever in case of issues, restoring using this backup is the responsibility of database team. Keeping enough storage space, whether it is used or free, is the responsibility of storage or team, STAN team. So all these members of development team and operation team will involve in making an application that is available 24/7. In this case, what Agile does, Agile focuses only in improving the development perspective. It doesn't give any attention to the operation team. As a result, even though development has been done in a very short period of time, there is issues associated with the operation. Operation team want to ready the infra, keep ready the infra based upon every model. Each and every model may have different operating systems. It may have some different tools that may be used. Therefore, at any point of time, every month by month, every monthly once, the operation team need to set up the infra. More frequently, it need to set up the infra. And as a result, there is a great tussle between the development team and operation team. A problem whenever it is faced in this application, if a client face any issues as in accessing the application, so both developer and operation will point to each other. So the problem is with the operation, the problem is with development. Like both of them will point other one. In this perspective, the resolving the error will be a serious issue. Those sort of things that we have faced in Agile. To overcome from that, so rather than giving more priority attention towards the development operation, then the another approach what we are following, we call it as a DevOps. In this DevOps approach, we call both development team and operation team work in conjunction with each other, work together. Okay, the development team knows what is happening in the operation team. The operation team knows what is happening in the development team. By the way of handshaking between the members of development and operation team, here this DevOps approach is aims at developing an application in a shorter span of time and delivering to the client with a very high efficiency. Okay, so with a minimum time stamp. Okay, so here the application which is initially developed, if it uses this waterfall model, okay, if it took more time, the aim of this DevOps approach is so developing the application in a shorter span of time. So initially the application took, let me take 7 months of time for development. So 7 months development time. If we use this traditional approach. Now if we use this DevOps approach which is nothing but the Agile approach, plus in addition to that the operation development, both this focuses on development and operations work together. Okay, both the team will work together. DevOps is not it's technology. We can call it as a culture. We can call the DevOps as a culture by which every team member, okay, voluntarily will involve in the activity of other activity apart from their activity. They also know what is happening on the other side also. That is, we call it as a culture. So the main aim of this DevOps here is to develop the application in a very short span of time, short time. Shorter time means, for example, application which involves 10 developers, okay, 10 resources, developer, tester resources, imagine, it needs 7 months to development. By applying this DevOps, I can able to develop within a month. Then if that is the case, so I need to develop within a month. That means I need more resources, is it? But with less resources. The approach of DevOps will result in less resources. How it reduces the resources? Actually, for 7 months of a project, it took 10 developer to complete. Okay, that's for total man resources is 10 into 7, 70 man resources has been deployed. Here in this case, if it want to complete on 1 month, here also, here you need a 70 man resources. Instead of that, this activity can be completed using 10, 20 man resources. How these things can happen? Here everything has been done in a manually. Here in this case of a traditional approaches, developing the code, building the code, creating the infrastructure, making so placing the application in infrastructure created, monitoring the application, monitoring the database, everything will be done manually. Therefore, it needs resources. Here, everything is automated by means of certain automated tools. Okay, by means of certain automated tools, the process of development, the process of testing, okay, the process of delivery. So that is deployment and delivery. Everything will be automated. So here by the way of using these automated tools, what we can do, we can able to reduce these resources to great extent. At the same time, being we use automatic tool, we can able to achieve the development time in a very short span of time with less resources and more importantly with very high efficiency and accuracy, very high efficiency. So because of the opposite reason, so every company now they are adapting, try to adapt this DevOps. So from initially it was traditional and they moved to agile and now every company is focusing their attention towards DevOps. That's the reason why there is a huge demand for DevOps engineer. So DevOps is not a single tool. It is a combination of several automation tools that we are going to discuss. Already you guys are aware. Out of each tool, one of the important tools that is associated with Jenkins, which we call it, this is the center of cynosure of the DevOps. Jenkins interact with all other tools. Jenkins interact with the Git. Jenkins interact with the Maven. Jenkins interact with the Ansible. So Jenkins interact with the Docker. Each and every tool which forms a part of DevOps. Jenkins interact with the okay. So Ansible, Docker, it interact with the Chef. The Jenkins interact with the monitoring tool. Okay, so everything. This Jenkins forms the cynosure. Okay, Jenkins can interact. Okay, forms the cynosure. Therefore, our focus is going to be on Jenkins. We call it as a CI/CD tool. Okay, this is the overview of the advantage of going for DevOps from traditional approach and the role of Jenkins in this approach is going to be discussed. So if you have any doubt, please let me know what we have discussed so far. If you have any doubt, that please let me know. Already these things has been taught. I hope you also attended the previous DevOps session of mine. Yes, Kalyan?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so and that compared to that session, I think so hope you might have appeared somewhat around 6-8 months back, I think so. But this time has been almost 80% of new things has been revised.
All right.
Okay. Others, Karpasamy, Ranjit, is it clear?
Clear, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me start with what is CA and CD. Assume, okay, we have following developers. We have developer Kalyan. We have Raman. And we have Ranjit. Okay, so they are developing a model. So they are developing a personal loan model. The personal loan model consists of a program. Okay, for the following Java program. Okay. 1.java, 2. The functionalities consist of following things: 3.java. Assume that we have 4.java and 5.java. These are all the 6 functionalities that forms the part of program which result in the functionalities of personal loan. Out of which Kalyan is taking care of 1 and 2.java. Raman is taking care of 3, 4. Ranjit is taking care of 5 and 6. Kalyan in this mission, what he has a tool called Git, which is version control system. You already have what is version control system. Keep track of changes history of changes that has been recorded in the code, version control system. Okay. Here, similarly, Raman in his machine will have Git. Using this Git, he will develop the code. Okay, and he keeps tracks of the changes to the. Once the code has been developed, there will be a central repository called GitHub. The repository can be either a public repository or it can be a private repository. Here, the 1.java and 2.java, everything has been pushed. 1.java and 2.java, which is developed by Raman, sorry, Kalyan, and then 3.java and 4.java developed by Raman, and Ranjit 5.java, 6.java has been pushed here. So here what happens normally as a Java developer, when you develop a code on that Java, so the code need to be compiled. The code need to be compiled and run. Okay. So you use this Java compiler to compile the code. And then the code compilation means it checks for syntax and semantics. Okay, it will check for syntax and semantics. Everything is perfect. It will create a class file, one.class file. Okay, and then here similarly 1.java and 2.java, similar up to we have 6.java. We have all these 6 class files, 2.class, 3.class up to 6.class files. Then after performing this bytecode transformation, all the things need to be combined as a single. Okay, so personal loan.jar, Java archive file, or it may be a web archive file, or it may be enterprise archive file, or it may be exe file. With respect to the Java, we have jar file or war file or e file. With respect to some applications, it may be exe file, etc. Okay, the process of converting all these class files under a single file and maintaining this file, we call this as an artifact. Okay, which is nothing but your application associated files has been clubbed, archived under a single name. Okay, so here this process of compilation and the process of creating the artifact we need to done. For that, what do we need? We need a tool like Jenkins. Jenkins, what we does, Jenkins, we need to configure Jenkins, okay, in a server. So Jenkins will look for this repository. Jenkins will look for the repository. Wherever there is a new file which is uploaded by the user, Jenkins will download the file and it will do the process, the compilation, and all the opposite process will be done by a tool called as Maven. We have tools like Maven. We have tools like Untitled. We have tools like Gradle. Okay, each and every tool. We have tools like MS Build for Microsoft okay, related programming. Like .NET, we use MS Build. For Java, we use Maven Ant. Okay, these are all the tools. This is called as the continuous build tool. Continuous build tools. So what it does, Jenkins will download the file. It will download the one.java. And it will instruct the Maven. So here in this case, we are going to use Maven. Please do the compilation and build the artifact. The artifact has been built. The artifact has been kept by the repository like JFrog artifact repository. So similar to that of this GitHub, we have JFrog repository which keeps copy of the artifact. Okay, so we have the following repositories using which the artifact will be managed. Okay. So after that, what it does? So Jenkins here for this, it needs to interact with this GitHub. Jenkins will interact with the Maven. Okay. So and then after that, the artifact is ready. So we need to create a server. We need to create a server, application server. Okay, the application server in normally in a traditional environment need to be made ready by system administrator, and network administrator will give the connection, the connecting to this router, and the application will be hosted on the application server. Here the application has been hosted, that is the personal loan.java. Once it is hosted, some testers will apply some test cases. Testers will apply test cases. If the text is succeed, okay, means once again we need, this is a okay testing, this testing server. So once everything has been perfect in testing server, we have production server. In the production server, what happens here? Once the test is succeed, the application will be loaded. The personal loan.jar file will be loaded in the production server. from where the client start using the application. This is the sequence of flow that happens. You already aware. Okay, Jenkins what that does normally this activity creating the server, okay, writing the test code will be done by the testers. This thing will be done manually. Here, what happens here instead of doing this manually, the process of creating the server. Okay, so ensuring the server 24/7. Those things can be done by the CM tool. We call this config management tools, configuration management tools. So if we call it as a configuration management tool as a IA infrastructure as a code, IaaC. Instead of deploying physical resources to create the infrastructure, the infrastructure can be created in an automated manner by using certain codes. We call it as a IaaC, infrastructure as a code. For this, we make use of configuration management tools. One of the prominently used tool is Ansible. We have Ansible, Chef, we have Puppet. Make a note of it. These are all the tools, configuration management tools. We have similar tools, okay? So Ansible, Chef, Puppet, Salt Stack, lot of tools, Salt Stack like tools, okay? So the infrastructure has been created. The infrastructure has been created and is ready. Jenkins what it does, it will take this artifact, it will instruct this JFrog repository, it will take the artifact and place the artifact into the infrastructure that is created. And once underneath Jenkins will invoke this test, we have automated testing tools like Selenium. Jenkins will interact with the Selenium, and we have testers develop the test code. The test code, Jenkins will download the code. Once again, the testers develop the test code also stored in a public repository like GitHub. Jenkins will download the code and apply the code into the artifact, that is into the personal loan application, and it will check whether the particular personal loan application is working according to the customer expectation. Everything is working fine. If perfect, the test will be success. If okay, everything is okay, then the application will be moved into the production environment. Okay, the process of moving the application from one environment into the another environment. In this case, the Jenkins server will take it from artifact and it will move into the testing server. This process we call it as a continuous deployment, moving the application from one server, from the development server and to the testing server. We call it as a continuous deployment. Once it is everything is perfect in testing server, it will be moved to the production server. Once the production server, when the application moves into the production server, it is ready for the end client to start using the application. The process of moving the application from the testing server is everything okay to the production server. We call it as a continuous delivery. Okay, we call it as a continuous delivery. The difference between this continuous delivery and deployment here is a continuous delivery is the final thing where the end client start accessing the applications. Intermediately, it moves from one development to testing. From testing environment, we have another environment. Intermediately, we have some staging servers. We have some stage servers. In stage server, some more activity will be applied on stage server. If everything is perfect, now move to the production server. So this is the way by which, by making use of certain tools, the process of developing an application from the developer side into the client side is automated by means of some set of automation tools, which forms the part of our DevOps. Here in this, the core component Jenkins role is CI and CD tool. We call it as a CI/CD tool. It will interact with this above set GitHub repository. It will interact with Maven. It will interact with Artifactory repos tools. It will interact with these tools like configuration management tool, and it will do all the activity in an automated manner. Under the control of Jenkins, everything happens. Therefore, the role of Jenkins plays a very, very crucial role in our CI/CD process. So here in this session, we are going to discuss about the role of Jenkins. It took around 10 sessions. It took minimum of 10 to 12 sessions to complete. Okay, so this is the first session, that is the introductory session. Okay, is it clear? What is Jenkins and what is similar to that of Jenkins? As we already told, we have TeamCity, Travis, AWS code pipeline, etc., etc. That's clear?
Clear, sir.
Clear, sir.
So just if you want, you can make a note of this thing. So just make a note. I will share you some of the documents also. No issue. So you know the first phase, which is the developer will continuously develop. First continuous development. Okay. The first phase is developer start development. Once the code has been developed, it is pushed. And then here it is continuous. Second stage is continuous build. Okay. By using these tools like Maven, it will be built. Artifact has been built. And third stage, the artifact has been applied to testing, continuous testing. Okay. So here before continuous testing, what happens? The artifact will be moved from the development environment into testing environment. We call this as a continuous deployment. Stage 3 continuous deployment. Once it is moved to the testing environment, so some test cases which was developed by tester will be applied. Okay. And into the application in the test case in the test server. So the test script will be created by tools like Selenium, Code Guide. There are a lot of tools, JUnit. These are all some of the tools using which it is test cases has been tested. And Jenkins use these test cases and the program associated with the test cases in an automated manner. And in case any issues, Jenkins will inform to the developer. Developer, this part of the coding is not satisfying the following test case. Therefore, recode it. So, Kalyan, your code 1.java, it needs some refinement. Like this, feedback will be given to Kalyan. What Kalyan will do, Kalyan will regenerate the code. It will do the needed modification as per as the suggestion, and he will push the code once again to the repository. Jenkins will take the code and it will perform a continuous build. And after that, it will take the code and merge the code into the repository. That is already we have artifact. It will update the 1.java. Okay, that is with the new 1.1 Java version. So then this process will continue. Once it is applied with the test case server, if everything is perfect on test server, it will be moved into the next step. Okay, continuous deployment, continuous testing, and first final step is continuous delivery. This is the way the first CI for first continuous integration involves phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Continuous delivery involves phase 5, which are all the activity which will be done by Jenkins. Okay, for doing this activity, what we are going to do, we are going to create 3 servers. The environment that we are going to make use of it, we are going to create 3 servers. One server we can call it as a development environment. We call this environment as a development environment. The second environment we call it as a testing environment. QA environment or testing environment. The third environment we call it as a production server, production environment. We have production server in the production environment. We have testing servers. We have development servers. Okay, what do we need to install here? Please make a note. We need to install the following things here. So in development server, we need a Git. Okay, we need a tool for building Maven. So we need a Java. Okay, so here we will be using JDK 1.8. So here we need Jenkins need to be configured here. Okay, these are all the 4 things that need to be configured. In testing environment, we need Java. Here too, we need Java. Here we need an application server. We are going to configure application server Tomcat 8. Here too, in production also, the application need to be run. Therefore, we need the Tomcat 8. Okay, these are all these the same version of Java. JDK 1.8, JDK 1.8. So these are all the tools that we need. Here for this environment, for creating this server, I am going to make use of this AWS EC2 services. Here in AWS EC2, I am going to create the server with Ubuntu as my operating system. Ubuntu 16 or Ubuntu 18 or Ubuntu 20, any operating system that I can make use of it. So I need this Ubuntu. So I am going to make use of this Ubuntu 16 or Ubuntu 18. I am going to create these servers. So after that, what I need to do, this is my development server. From the development server, it need to make a communication with the testing server and production server. For that, what I need to do, I want to set up passwordless authentication. I want to set up passwordless authentication between this development server and the QS server and production server. Okay. So here normally Jenkins runs under the master and slave configuration. We will discuss those master and slave. We'll be having one master server and remaining things are slave servers. We can imagine this as a slave one, and okay, we can imagine similar servers to several slaves, slave 2, slave 3, and slave servers. We want to set up this passwordless authentication between the master and slaves. Okay. So here the Jenkins in this environment, what have happened? Okay. Jenkins will create this artifact. So example personal loan.jar. This loan.jar file will be moved to the testing here. Personal loan.jar. Here in this, we will be applying some test programs. If everything is okay, we apply. If everything is success, okay, what happens here is, so this personal loan.jar will be moved here into the production server. In case if a test fails, what happens? The feedback will be given to the developer. Okay, the developer will need to re-code according to the feedback given. Once again, this process will be happens. Okay, this is the environment, development environment, testing environment, and production environment that we are going to create. For that, we are going to make use of EC2 Ubuntu micro instance. Okay, so this is the general environment that we need for our Jenkins. Okay, let me connect with AWS. AWS console login. You already have a trace how to create this environment. Under AWS management console, I need to create the following thing. Go to EC2. Here you can create the needed servers. So here you can create the needed servers. I already create. So let me launch instance. Kalyan, hope you are already aware of this cloud.
Yes.
Okay, let me take this Ubuntu 18. So always ensures that you uses micro instance, configure instance detail. Number of instances that we need is 3. Add a storage, add a tag. Okay, so you don't need to add a tag. Laterally we can add a tag. Configure security group. You can make use of existing security group. I have a launch user one. It contains HTTP. It permits all the traffic. The thing is that you should have all the traffic as well as SSH. These 3 things need to be permitted. These are all the 2 conditions. All traffic and SSH from anywhere. And then review, launch. You want to choose a key pair. I have already created a key pair. Launch instance. The instance will be launched. Today I will show how to install Jenkins, that is your prod server. So, okay, let me make it as development server, dev server. This is a QA server. This is a prod server, production server. Now everything is perfect. Now that I connect with this dev server to install Jenkins here. Connect with the server. You guys already aware how to connect. We can make use of a tool like Upati. That authentication, browse. You want to give this .ppk file. I have already learned like .ppk. Open. The default username for Ubuntu login is Ubuntu. Okay, small letter. Ubuntu, small letter, small case. Now it got connected. This authenticated. This everything is perfect. It got connected. Change settings, appearance, change. Okay, now before installing Jenkins, what do we need to do? The first thing that we want to do is update sudo apt-get update. After that, let me install Java. Sudo apt-get install open jdk-8-jdk. So I am installing Java JDK 1.8 open source. It took 30-40 seconds to complete the installation. It depends upon your network speed. It is internet network speed. So if it is Ubuntu 16 means it took 30-40 seconds only. Being it is Ubuntu 18, it took some time. So why it is taking so much of time? So Java and then Git and Maven. So those things is very easy. Normally, if you go for Ubuntu 14 or 16, it took 40-50 seconds to complete. Big it is 18. It took more packets, I think so. Okay. Normally, it won't take this much of time. Yes, now Java has been configured. Let me make a verification. Java compiler will let you know all this. Yes, perfect. Now let me install git sudo apt -get install git. So git has been installed. Sudo apt -get install maven. MAV, it is a build tool. Now requirement with respect to this development server. Okay, Java, Git, and Maven is ready. Now we need to install Jenkins. Okay, everything is ready. Let me verify. Git space hyphen version will let you know the Git version that has been installed. MVN Maven space version, it will let you know the Maven version that is installed, Apache Maven. And to Java space hyphen version will let you know the Java version that has been installed. Okay, Java hyphen version. We have JDK 1.8, Open JDK 1.8, We have Maven, Apache Maven 3.6. We have Git 2.17. So now you need to download and configure Jenkins. So go to Google and download Jenkins. It will take you to the Jenkins download page. Jenkins download. So it will take you to the page www.jenkins.io download. Go on. And there are two versions, either stable, long-term support, or regular releases, weekly release. So we go for every 4 weeks we releases stable releases. Okay, so this weekly release involves release every week once. This release line delivers bug fixes and new features rapidly to the user and plugin developers who needed them. Okay, it is generally delivered a weekly calendar. All the bugs have been fixed, and every 4 weeks once we release the stable releases. Okay, which include bug and security fix backports. Now we are going for this stable release. Here there is a thing called generic Java var. We can use either a Docker image. You can use either a Ubuntu variant. Okay, there are several ways by which you can make use of it. And what we are going to do, so we are going here also we can use Jenkins in AWS, as I told, AWS code deployment. You can use in Azure, we can use in Google. Okay, all these also have a support now. We are going to make use of it here. Generic Java package. Double right click, copy the link address. So move to the server. Here you simply type wget, right click. Okay, it will give get Jenkins.war file. Okay, it will give you the Jenkins file that we need to download. Please make a note. Mirror dot. Okay, so here you have wget mirrors.jenkins.war war stable. The release latest Jenkins war. Okay, now Jenkins.war is ready. Okay, now to run it, Java -jar Jenkins.war. It will start the Jenkins. So for downloading Jenkins, you need to have the password file. This is the password file that you need. Okay, it took some time. You will get a message, Jenkins is ready. Jenkins is fully up and running. This is the message that you need. Okay, so you open a duplicate session, log in as Ubuntu. For what reason here is we need this password. We need this password. Okay, for this password we are going for this session. Open the public IP. Go to the instance where we have configured this Jenkins. Open the DNS name. Open a new URL. Control V. Jenkins run under the port number 8080. Enter. So it will take you to the Jenkins installation. Okay, unlock Jenkins. So you need this particular under the home Ubuntu Jenkins secrets. There is a password. You need this password. Right click, copy the password. So where to copy? Go to the screen. So in type cat and copy the content. It will give you the password. This is the password. Simply choose the password. Control C, copy the password and move to the server. Okay, here in the administrator password, Control V, it will place the password. Okay, so to install Jenkins, we need this administrator password. Continue. So it will ask for install suggested plugins or select plugins. Let me install suggested plugins. So it will start installing. It took some time. 2-3 minutes to complete the plugin. Jenkins is a plugin management tool. For each and every interaction, it needs plugins. For Jenkins interacting with GitHub, Jenkins interacting with Git, Jenkins interacting with Maven, Jenkins interacting with Selenium, it needs plugins. These are all the plugins that we need of. It installs the plugin. Now you can find these are all the plugins. Okay, pipeline, Git, LDAP, Ant, Gradle. Some plugins by default it will install by default. Username is asking for username, then we give admin. Password admin. Okay, confirm password admin. Full name, Raman, email address, raman@gmail. These are the things. Save and continue. Okay, now you can access the Jenkins in the following URL. Save and finish. Now start using Jenkins. It will take you to the Jenkins. This is the way by which you need to enter. This is the Jenkins dashboard screen that it is configured. Just here, we have set up the first thing that we need for our development environment. Okay, we have started with creating an EC2 instance to Ubuntu. Followed with we have installed Java, Git, and Maven. Now we have installed and configured Jenkins. My first dev server is ready. I need to configure the remaining QA server. On top of it, I need to install Tomcat as my application server. So there are several servers similar to that of Tomcat. Okay, you can have Nginx, Apache, Internet Information Server. Several servers are there. Here I am going for the Tomcat, version 8 of Tomcat. Okay, that thing we'll discuss on tomorrow. Until now, if you have any doubt, is it clear for you guys?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Everything is clear, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so now the session for today is over. We will meet at the same time, 8:15 on tomorrow to continue this. I will share you the video of today's session before tomorrow. No issue. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye. If you have any doubt before